1 plus the R% times T, finish the bracket. And compound interest A will equals to P plus P is the principal, 1 plus R%, but raised to the power of T. Okay, so for the first one, for bank 1, I can write A equals to P is $1,000, that's the principal, times 1 plus simple interest is 10%, so it's 1 plus 0.1 to 0.1 times T, because it's the simple interest. So A equals to 1,000 times 1 plus 0.1 T. Okay, so what happens to B? B equals to principal, that's still 1,000 times 1 plus, okay, 8% is 0.08 to the power of T, that equals to 1,000 times 1.08 to the power of T. Okay, so I can write up the formulas like this one and that one. Okay, so A in terms of T and B in terms of T. Let's have a look at the second question. The second question is use your rules to complete the table below. So I want to find the value of A after 3 years, 0 years, 3 years, 9 years, 6 years, and 9 years for bank 1 and bank 2. So at year 0, it must be $1,000 for sure, because that's the initial amount, $1,000. But what happens to 3, 6, and 9? I will use my calculators to solve for that. Let's define the function again, because I don't want to substitute values for like 6 times. So I would define that as 1,000 times bracket 1 plus 0.1 times T. Okay, so that's the simple interest one. Press Ctrl var. Let's make that to AX. I can't make that X, I must make that to T, because it's in terms of T now. So it's AT, enter. So that's done. That's for bank A. What happens to bank B? Bank B is $1,000 times bracket 1.08, because it's 8%, and to the power of T, make a lowercase t, and then Control var, so to B bracket T in terms of T as well. That's bank A and bank B. So let's try values for year 3. So for year 3, bank A have 1300 and A6 1600 and A9 1900. Okay, what we can realize here. So for A, this formula A here, let's write that in the green color. I can open the bracket. A can be equals to 1,000 plus 1,000 times 0.1 T is equals to 100 T. This is a linear actually. Okay, so that is a linear. So simple interest is increasing linearly. So that's why that's 300, like over 3 years, 300 over 3 years, another 300 over 3 years, increasing another 300. So every year it will be increased $100. So like we have the correct answer here. So if it's simple interest, you will have a linear increasing formula. But for the bank B, it will be exponentially increasing. exponential growth. So let's have a look at B3. So B3 is 1259.71. 1259.71. Let's try B6. 1586.87. 1586.87. And B9, 1999.00. So it's 199.00. Okay, so I want to correct to 2 decimals. So that's correct to 2 decimals. So question C asking us, which bank should Lucy choose in order to get a higher return? Which bank can give us a higher return? Let's compare here. So at year 0, I have $1,000. I have $1,000. Year 3, I have 103,000, 1,300, and 1,259. Bank A gives a higher one. Year 6, 1,600, but 1,586. Bank A still gives us a higher value. But think about year 9, 1,900, but 1,999. Bank B this time gives us a higher value. I can't really predict which one gives us a higher value at each year. So we can show this two equation on the graph and compare that on the graph. So let's go back to the calculator, but go back to the home page. Let's open this one, the graph calculators. So let's make f1x to be the simple interest. So for simple interest, I have $1,000. I times that become 1 plus 0.1 t. Okay, that's the thing we need to pay attention. When we try to draw graphs, we can't press the variable t here. We must change all my variables to x. Okay, because f1x, your variable is x here, I must draw x here. If you put t here, you can't see your graph. So let's type this equation in. Let's press enter. Okay, you only can show a little bit of your graph. Why that happens is because your value is like, see the maximum value. Your y max is 6.67 here, but your minimum value, see your equation, your initial value is $1,000 already. So you need to change the settings, window settings here. So let's press menu. Let's go to number 4, window zoom, and number 1, window settings. Let's change the x and y maximum and minimum. I don't need my x minimum to be something like really negative because time cannot be negative. So the time is 0. So let's start from 0. Let's make the x max to become 10. So I want to see what happens in 10 years time. Let's say your y minimum. Your y minimum, let's make that to 1,000 is the lowest value. Let's make that to 900, not to 1,000. I can make that 900. So what is your y max? It's $1,000, but it grows every year. Maybe I just try 3,000 to see what happens. Let's press enter. Okay, you can see a straight line here. Okay, you can see the straight line. That's your first graph. Okay, now let's show the second graphs here. Let's press tab. You can have your another equation to type in. So 1.08 to the power of t, but I need to make the t to become x again here. So let's press enter. You will see the red line. Okay, It's all blank here. See here, it's all blank.